There are many different pieces of the puzzle and many different pertinent pieces of information that you have to take into consideration when trying to move up here to Reno. Woo! Hey, in this video, we're going to discuss the top 3 mistakes that people are making right now when moving to Reno, Nevada. And the last one is going to be a kicker. So make sure you stick around to the end, watch all 3 of them, and let me know if you have any questions. Hey everybody, Logan Allen Williamson here, representing Williamson Professional Real Estate Sales. I'm a local real estate agent up here in Reno, Nevada. In today's video, we are up here in the northwest side of town at McQueen High School. As you can probably tell by some of the expansive views that are behind me, we're at about 5,000 feet today above sea level. A majority of the Reno Basin is about 4,500 feet above sea level, so it's a little bit elevated. You get really nice views up here of all of downtown Reno, all the way into down south. You don't get Mount Rose from this side of town like you would down on the southwest or southeast side of town, down by Galena Creek or Damani, but it is absolutely beautiful. Complete different perspective on Reno from up here. If you're looking for information on what it is like to live, work, eat, sleep, play up here in Reno, and certainly what the real estate market is doing, this is the channel for you. I'm a local real estate agent here. I'm working with people from all over the world that are contacting me daily about information about moving up here to Reno, and that's why this video is so important. I'm seeing some common mistakes that people are making when attempting to move up here to Reno, and we've got to address them right here, right now, moving into 2021. The market is hotter than ever, but if you were looking for information about what it is like to live up here, or if you need a tactical strategy, step-by-step approach to how to get up here and how to execute your move, I want to talk to you. My contact information is in this video and below. Please reach out to me. Call, email, text, carrier, pigeon, smoke signal. I don't care. Just get in touch. I'll talk to you soon. Whew. All right. It is quite sunny out here, so you'll have to forgive me, but I got to throw the old shades on. All right. So there's a lot to go through in this video, but what's happening is I'm seeing people make the same mistake again and again and again. And there are 3 mistakes that are typically happening right now with folks that are attempting to move up here. Now, I'm talking to my clients, and I'm talking to a lot of people that, quite frankly, should have been my clients, that are working with other folks, and they're making the same mistakes over and over and over again when attempting to move up here to Reno. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the top 3 mistakes that are happening when people are attempting to move up here, relocate up here. So let's jump right in. Number 1, if you need to sell a home in another market before you move up here to Reno, there are a couple different things that are happening. The first thing that I see happening, which is a major mistake in a hot market like this, is that people are listing a home for sale in another market before reaching out and contacting a real estate professional up here in Reno like myself. Now, what is happening from what I'm seeing, people in Southern California, people on the East Coast, they're listing a home for sale, they're going under contract, and then they're reaching out to me about buying up here in Reno without getting an understanding of what the market is doing, what the metrics are showing, what you can expect when trying to purchase a home from out of state up here. Now, things are moving quickly, unlike what a lot of people believe. We have no chance of getting a house up there. The prices are inflating. We're not going to be able to find anything. There are some people that think exactly the opposite. They think that they're going to list their house and they're just going to come up here over the course of a weekend. They're going to be able to look at houses. They're going to be able to think about it for another week before writing an offer. And it depends on the price point you're looking in, but that probably just is not the case. Let me give you some information. So in the price point of $300,000 to $450,000, our monthly supply of inventory is 5 days. Now, this is being filmed in December 2020. We're moving into January 2021. And I will tell you that the inventory is extremely low. I just had a client drive in from California, find a house that they really wanted to write an offer on. They wrote an offer $40,000 above asking price. They were beat out by a cash offer, and there were 6 offers total. So the fact is, bidding wars are happening in certain price ranges. Now, above that, up into the $600,000 to $800,000 range, to give you an example, I have a few listings on the south side of town that have been sitting for over a month and a half, and they're all priced right. But up in some of the higher price ranges, what we're not seeing is the same activity in some of the lower price ranges. Now, to get back to my point, if you list a home for sale out of state, you get an offer, you go under contract, you have a close date in mind, and all of a sudden then you make the decision that you're going to reach out and try to get information about what's happening here in Reno. If you're in one of those lower price ranges, you need to understand that you are presumably going to have to write an offer sight unseen on a property. You're going to be writing an offer contingent on the sale of your home out of state, which is going to make you less competitive than somebody that does not have that contingency or somebody that's coming in with cash in hand. It's going to put you at a huge disadvantage. And 2, you need to understand that it takes time to figure out where you want to live up here in Reno. It's not as easy as just looking at Zillow over the course of an afternoon, picking a side of town and saying, I want to live there, go find me a house, we'll write an offer sight unseen. Because what's happening is people are doing that, and then they're finding out once they get up here based on their lifestyle, they wish they would have purchased somewhere else. So the number one mistake that I'm seeing people make is they don't reach out to a diligent professional up here first to discuss the logistics of the move up here, whether that be contingent on the sale of a home in another market, or even if it's not. I will tell you definitively that who you work with matters. I personally will put together a step-by-step plan for you in order to help you execute on finding your next home up here in Reno, regardless of whether or not you have to sell in another state. There are many different pieces of the puzzle and many different pertinent pieces of information that you have to take into consideration when trying to move up here to Reno. It is a hot market that changes things. If there was less demand, it would certainly be a little bit different than what is required right now to execute to get you into a home up here. But the number one mistake that I'm seeing is that people are making decisions, they're listing a home in another market without contacting somebody like myself first. You need to speak to a diligent real estate agent up here in Reno before making the decision to list your home, making the decision to accept an offer on your home in another market. First things first, contact me. Now, what comes along with that too, I'm a part of the fastest growing group at my real estate brokerage in company history. We have a number of different agents all around the country in North America, down in Mexico, India, Portugal, Brazil, France, and quite frankly, all around the world. I'm part of a global brokerage, and I spend a lot of money and I spend a lot of time being a part of high-level networking groups with some of the best agents around the world. Now, I do that for the benefit of my clients. Whether you're in Southern California, whether you're on the East Coast, in the Northwest, wherever you may be in the world, I want to help you find an agent if you do need to list a home that is going to be diligent, somebody that I can actually put my name behind and refer you to, that I'm confident is going to do a good job. When an agent in your market and somebody like myself can work together, if you need to sell a home and then buy up here, it's going to be really a seamless transition as opposed to working with somebody that maybe doesn't answer their phone or just doesn't know how to get the job done. So if you do need a referral, I have people all over the country that I would be happy to refer you to help you get your home sold in another market. So again, first things first, if you're considering moving up here, 1, contact me. 2, if you need a referral agent, I'd be happy to help you. All right. Mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 that I'm seeing people make when trying to move up here to Reno is working with somebody that is not a Reno native. With the way the market is going, with how hot the market is right now, with the lack of inventory in the lower price ranges, with the changing dynamic of Reno from the infrastructure to the job market to the changing economy, moving from a gaming-centric economy to more of a distribution manufacturing economy, there's a lot of different things that someone needs to know in order to properly advise a client before purchasing or selling, quite frankly, real estate up here in Reno. Now, what I'm seeing happen with conversations from clients that are now reaching out to me who want to sell a home is that they reached out to an agent who they thought was diligent or they thought was going to do a fantastic job a couple years back. They moved up here. They realized, well, we're commuting to Truckee every day for work, but we thought that purchasing over on the east side of town or up in Spanish Springs was going to be a great idea just because of the freeway accessibility that we were told is something that would be convenient. They want to sell. They want to live up in the northwest side of town. Or somebody that says, hey, I frequent South Lake Tahoe. I love the lake. I love the state line area. I still want access to the California side of Lake Tahoe on the south side. That ends up purchasing up on the north side of town, that we're told, oh yeah, just jump on 395 South. There's new infrastructure out to Carson City. It's only going to take you an hour and 15 minutes. And after they do that time and time again, they learned that that is not the place in town that they wanted to purchase. Or, for example, somebody that's going to tell you that moving up here, that this is a gaming-centric economy, if you will, when anybody who's local here, anybody that was born and raised up here that has been reading the news, reading the headlines, we know that this is turning into a manufacturing distribution economy. The entire profile up here is changing and who you work with matters. What I will tell you is that as a diligent agent who is licensed, there are a lot of folks that will be able to help you with writing a contract. There are a lot of folks that will be able to help you with actually executing once you find a home that you like. But it's very hard to find somebody up here that really knows the back roads of the back roads, that knows this place intimately well. And who you work with does matter. I will tell you, mistake number 2 is reaching out to some random agent up here if you're considering a move and just expecting that you're going to be well taken care of. Who you work with matters now more than ever in this hot market. And I will tell you right now, you need to vet your agent. You really need to vet out your real estate agent before making the decision to purchase with somebody up here. Have a couple conversations. Some of the key questions to ask an agent when you're vetting out who to work with up here, ask them, how have you seen the profile of Reno change over the past decade? What has been happening up there to make you think that buying real estate would be different now than it would have been 5 or 6 years ago? Just a couple questions that'll give you an idea of whether or not somebody is really, really on top of the pulse of what's happening up here. Okay, now mistake number 3. And this is one that I know a lot of people want to know about, and it's whether or not the real estate market is going to deflate, if it's going to soften, if prices are going to come down, should we wait to buy? If we're looking at Reno right now, we don't have real urgency to sell or urgency to move, should we wait? We've seen that prices are coming up. Are they ever going to come down? They say what goes up must come down. Now, this is a very, very common misconception. What I was just having a conversation with one of my clients yesterday, came up from SoCal, is the relationship between prices and interest rates is elastic. There are a lot of different strategies. The fact of the matter is, being a sales professional, there are a lot of agents that are going to tell you, because they want to sell a home, it's a great time to buy. It's a great time to sell, no matter what. And that's true to an extent. There are reasons that make it a good time to buy or a good time to sell, regardless of the state of where the market is at. That's fact. That's just fact. It is. But what I will also tell you is that right now, with what we're seeing, there are a lot of people that think that we're in the 11th inning of a 9th inning game with pricing, meaning prices have gone up, prices have gone up, prices have gone up. When are they going to come down? It's almost inevitable. Okay, now there are a lot of key indicators and metrics, not speculation, but metrics that let us know when we are going to see a softening of prices. Okay, and usually it's based on the common law of supply and demand. What normally happens in a typical real estate market, which cycles every 10 to 12 years, is demand exceeds supply, meaning there are more buyers in a market than there are homes available to be sold. Builders will come in, they will completely overbuild in that market, and prices will start to drop, and it will shift from a seller's to a buyer's market. Now, what we're seeing up here in Reno is we're seeing a lot of high density urban development projects to try to decrease urban sprawl, meaning that a lot of the condos, the townhomes, and the luxury condos and apartments and things, we're seeing a ton of those being built, and that's where a lot of the contractors are being spread thin to. But what we're not seeing is this huge, massive inventory of single family homes that are being built to actually match the demand that is coming into the marketplace. We're seeing an increased number of jobs coming into the market that are tech jobs, not casino jobs. I mean, the casinos have been hit hard this year, in the restaurant industry, you name it. We're seeing an increase in jobs. We're seeing 3 out of 4 buyers that are coming in from out of town who are trying to purchase up here. And what we're seeing are the builders building up the supply for the folks that are going to be renting for the foreseeable future, which can continue to make it very, very hard to buy up here. What that is not going to do is that is not going to allow the supply to exceed the demand. Now, based on mortgage forbearance and all the mortgages being called due for people that weren't paying the mortgage this year, there's a lot of speculation that the market is going to get completely flattened with pre-foreclosures and with defaults here moving forward. Now, what we do know definitively up here in Northern Nevada, especially in Reno, is that less than 6% of people are taking advantage of mortgage forbearance, meaning that notices of default and moving into a foreclosure market is unlikely at any time in the near future. For anybody that is telling you that definitively the market is going to flatten, soften, or completely dip at any time in early to late 2021, I'm telling you right now, they're not reading the actual metrics, the actual analytics, and they're not looking at the facts of what is happening up here. So, if you are waiting to purchase, if you are waiting to make a purchase up here in Reno because you think that prices are going to soften or completely decline, I wouldn't hold your breath. Let that sink in. And what I will tell you as well, and this is something to consider no matter what market you're looking in. If you are looking at a market and you're looking to purchase where prices are declining, if you're going to leverage a mortgage and financing, prices, when it comes to interest rates, when prices decline, interest rates go up. It's an elastic relationship. When interest rates go up, prices come down. When prices come down, interest rates go up. That's the way it works. This is not a time to make assumptions. There are people like myself, there are lenders and bankers that can easily put together a financial statistical analysis for you. It costs more money to wait for prices to come down than it does to purchase and take advantage of the historically low interest rates that are available to you right now as a buyer. It's just fact. It's real. We can put it on paper and show you. A lot of people think that if prices were to come down 15% and I were to wait to purchase because prices are going to soften, and all of a sudden that $550,000 home is now, gosh, let's call it $510,000 or $515,000. What will happen over the lifetime of a 30-year mortgage with the interest that you're going to pay on that loan is presumably it is going to exceed the discount in price that you got on the front end of buying the house. You need to think about how much you're going to be paying in interest when those rates rise, because 0.25% in an interest rate bump up can be depending upon your price point, multiple six figures over the lifetime of a loan. It's something to consider. It's something to take in mind. If you have questions about that, reach out, because I have a lot of lender partners that are very, very financially affluent that can put together and crunch some numbers for you to just show you on paper that waiting may not be the best option for you if it's just based on financial if it's just based on finances, and that's kind of what you're looking at. Now, if you are bringing cash to the market, if you're coming up and you're going to be a cash buyer, then yeah, if you want to wait and you think the prices are going to come down, obviously purchasing a property at a discount, if you're leveraging 100% cash, paying interest is not something that you're going to need to worry about. Woo! All right, guys. Those are the top 3 mistakes that I see from people who are moving up here to Reno. Is 1, contact a professional up here like myself before you make the decision to list or sell a home in another market if you're planning on relocating up here and buying. 2, who you work with matters. You want to work with somebody that was born and raised up in the area, knows the back roads of the back roads, somebody that can truly advise you as your fiduciary and your real estate expert up here as to, based on your lifestyle, your work schedule, where the heck it is that you want to live. If it's going to be a long-term forever home for you, that may look different than something that you're going to plan to own for 5 to 7 years and then maybe turn into a rental. It's something to consider. And number 3 is waiting to purchase because you think the market is going to soften. It's a financial conversation. It needs to be based on metrics and a real financial plan that is written out on paper. Just make decisions based off of numbers. Don't make them based off of assumption or based off of hearsay or what you're hearing in the media. Because I can tell you, as we all probably know after this year and everything that we've all gone through together, they may not be steering you in the right direction. Now, all that being said, my name is Logan Allen Williamson. I represent Williamson Professional Real Estate Sales. I'm a local realtor up here in Reno. If you have questions, if you have any questions at all about what the heck it is like to live up here, or if you're trying to get information about moving up here to Reno, I want to talk to you. My information is in this video and below. Thank you for stopping by the channel. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. I come out with videos just about every week, depending on what the heck's going on. It's definitely busy season, even though some people might think otherwise. And can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by.